This is the emergency squad. What is the nature of your medical emergency?
My wife fell and she's down and I can't get her up, and I think she might have hit her head. She's bleeding and I need help.
Is she conscious?
Yes, she's conscious.
Has she been unconscious?
No, she hasn't been, but I just can't get her up.
Okay, we're on our way.
Hello, I'm John Bowker, and I'm a dispatcher for the emergency squad in Sun City Center. I'm going to be your host for the next few minutes while you meet some of my associates at the squad. Now, at the very least, you'll be learning more about what we do and what makes the squad tick. But we really hope that what you'll do is come in, visit us, and investigate further with the idea of joining us. Now, you've probably noticed around town that the squad is constantly looking for new people. Well, we asked Mike Anderson why this is.
Recruiting will always be an ongoing thing. What people have to remember is the people that join the squad, unlike people that join a police department or a teacher or anything else, the career length is limited because they are probably retired and up in the 60s area, so the longevity of their service is not as great as would be years before.
Now, what's in it for you if you join the squad? Of course, the rewards will vary from person to person, but we asked our members that question, and here's what some of them answered at the question, why did you join, and what do you get from activities at the squad?
My wife was a teacher, I was a teacher and a school principal, and so we kind of felt the need to give back or to do something to serve the community, but we didn't want to tie ourselves all up and devote our lives to something, you know, that would cause us not to be able to have fun here in Sun City. Well, the squad just fit beautifully for that, being once every 8 days.
I took on the first responder course. I'd had no medical background at all except taking care of my husband, and so it was a big career change for me, and I liked working on the squad very much. Like most people here in Sun City Center, my family is not next door or even in the same state, and you miss that. You miss that, especially when you're alone. You miss that camaraderie and that sense of family or someone to even just talk to.
When I hadn't been here about 6 months, and I was playing golf with a guy that was on the squad, and he says, Dick, he says, you ought to join the squad. He says, we need young guys like you. Well, I was 64 at the time, so I told him, well, geez, Dave, you know, I came down here to retire and play golf, not to work. And it was dropped there. But you know what? If I had known then what I know now, God, I'd have joined it in a heartbeat. You can give something back to the community, and the self-fulfillment just is awesome.
Driving down 674, there was an ambulance sitting at the side of the road, and it had a sign on it and said, this ambulance is sitting here because there is no crew to take it out. And I felt guilty every time I went by that ambulance, and I thought, finally, I've got to look and see what this is about. Maybe I can do something, maybe I can help. I have no medical experience, but let's go see. And that's what brought me into the squad. And I'm so glad it did.
It's a very long story, but my father was ill the last year of his life, and the squad was very good to him. And I would have expected that because the squad is, you know, supposed to be doing that. But they were also very good to my mother. And the squad was very nice and took my father, and after duty that night, one of the ladies called and talked to my mother to make sure she was okay. And I just thought that was so wonderful. So I knew that I had to join the squad when I got down here because I owed them. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. The squad just kind of envelops you and takes you in and makes you part of it and gives you a whole bunch of friends and a whole bunch of family, people that I never would have met in my ordinary course of life. And I have been thrilled. They've been so good to me, and I've enjoyed my time immensely.
For me, it's the opportunity to be of service. Of course, as a Christian, it's an opportunity to put your beliefs into practice in a practical way. So I appreciate that opportunity to do that.
Well, we soon realized that this was really, where volunteerism reigned supreme, and we were looking for a place to put ourselves. And a neighbor introduced us to the squad, and I guess the rest is history. I never thought I'd ever do this in my life, and I'm absolutely thrilled that I drive an ambulance. I'm in charge of an ambulance. I can assist the EMT when we get to a patient. And I think overall, I didn't think I'll ever be in this type of profession, but I am, and I just love it.
No medical background whatsoever. I had CPR with the company I worked for, and my concern was I didn't have any medical background. But I was told I didn't have to worry about that, which was true, and they would teach me everything I needed to know, and they did. I went to the classes, and I went through the instructions, and felt very, very comfortable by the time I was ready to go out on a team. Satisfaction. I don't think there's anything like being in the field, going to a resident's home, and the appreciation that is shown by the family and the patient is just, it can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. There's nothing like it. It is unsolicited. We're doing a job and we all know it, yet I have people come up to me in the neighborhood, in the store, and say, thank you for what you're doing. So it's the satisfaction that I receive for doing what I'm doing.
Actually, there's a very deep sense of gratitude for being able to help somebody else. And it's a feeling that you can't put into words. It's like a glow on the inside of you when you've helped somebody. And you know that you've helped them. That's the big part. You know you've helped them.
I've joined a new family, and I'm making new friends, and I've got a new mission in life, which is to not only do my job in the squad, but do what I can to make the operation better. Like many of the rest of you, I find myself drifting in there on my days off to do one thing or another.
When you arrive at a residence, you can see the feeling of relief on their face. And they're always just so thankful that we're there. I mean, even if we don't take them, if ALS comes and takes them, we are generally the first ones there. And it does give you a good feeling.
It's fun. It is really fun. And the payback is when you can save a life and see that smiling face again.
It's not the pay, so it's the people and it's the helping those who need some help. You know, I moved on to another phase of my life, so this is another aspect that I can get into, and it's been a great learning process.
It's being of help to my neighbors, being involved in my community. I'm a driver, and I really enjoy doing that. I went through the first responder training. I like being part of a team, and I'm meeting the most wonderful people imaginable. So it was a way for me to get involved in my new community, meet really wonderful, committed people, and be of help to my community. I'm invested, and it gives structure to my week. I feel less selfish, that I'm enjoying myself, but a day, every 8 days, I go and help others, and that feels very good to me.
I like it. I like meeting the people. I like the team I'm on, and it's almost like another family. And it's good. I think I'm you know, meeting people. And a lot of people that come into the front desk, because that's where I am, they come in and I think some of them just are lonely and they like to talk for a few minutes.
It gives me the satisfaction of helping the community, friendship, camaraderie at the squad with my crew and everyone on the squad. It's just a very fulfilling experience. I stayed because of the need, because of the services that we provide. It's doing for other people versus doing for yourself. I mean, how satisfying is a golf round when you're done? Yes, you might get a good score, but at the end of the day, you played a round of golf. At the end of my day, I've helped people, and I've gotten a lot of thanks for it.
It's important as we get older to give back to the community. Very few of our calls are blood and guts. We get a lot more fell and can't get up kind of calls.
As opposed to couch potatoism, this is a very active community service. And it's not make work, and it's not busy work, but it's really quite useful to the citizens of Sun City Center. And I thought that while I'm healthy, that during this time span that I'm allowed to be healthy, that I could do something useful rather than just sit around and watch TV or something.
Giving back. I want to give back, and it's time. I'm a young man. I'm still able to lift and carry people, and I figure that's what this squad needs, and I'm here for that purpose.
And I'll tell you what, the first time you save a life, there is no feeling like it. I walked 2 feet above the ground for 2 weeks.
Now that was just a small sample of the responses we got when we interviewed the squad members. But how about the rest of the community? How do they feel about the squad? We interviewed several, and here's what they had to say.
Well, I think it's, it's a unique link between our emergency department and the community. Really, they're treated just as any other critical transportation link in the community. We see them almost as frequently as we see the Hillsborough Fire and Rescue.
I think being a volunteer does a lot for people. People need to feel needed. They need to feel that they're contributing. People I know that are on the squad are like that. They're active people. They're good shape physically and mentally, and they really care about their community, care about people. So yeah, I think it does a lot of good for the caregiver as well as the receiver. Absolutely.
Very professional. As a new person to this area and not knowing the situation in Sun City where we have this volunteer service, I assumed they were commercial, professional paramedics.
I myself have experienced this situation when I had an episode here at church. We had a man who was a member of emergency squad in the sanctuary who came back to the office with me. We had an emergency squad here, and I was taken to the hospital, and I felt I was in good hands, very competent hands, and I was assured of that. So it gives us a good feeling as community members to know that these people are competent, well-trained, able to do what they say they can do.
It's the best thing that you could call. It's close, they're here in a heartbeat, and they're going to do everything they can to save you.
I can think of a particular situation where we had a person who had a major stroke. Emergency squad got there first, could identify quickly, let the county know, so by the time paramedics did arrive, they knew what they had to face. But it also enabled the county to go ahead and call, so by the time they got to the hospital, the helicopter was ready. Because of the emergency squad's quick response, he recovered completely.
The response time is probably the most singularly important feature of the emergency squad. I think that the squad does improve the property values of the community because people find out when they move here how readily available help is if they get in trouble.
To have a volunteer organization such as this in a community such as ours It's unbelievable.
One thing that really stands out is the professionalism that our volunteers show. And the response from those who have been helped reflects this. They say, I couldn't have survived if I hadn't been helped by the members of the emergency squad.
One of the best things about having the squad here backing us up, so to speak, is that the squad is able to handle most of the basic life support or BLS calls without having to call us, therefore taking the load off of our ALS response or advanced life support and allowing us to be there for the real critical calls and not having to be tied up on the basic calls. So it's great having them there to help out.
I'll leave you with one final thought.
Before you say no to joining the squad, come take a ride with us. I gotta go.